So let's start with a simple product category name and say net sales. So net sales. So a simple pivot table, and let's say we want to incorporate a user defined user input exchange rate, and we want to build another column that gives you the converted dollar instead of dollar amount, say in euros. And you want to allow the user to be able to control the exchange rate. Try different exchange rates, for example. Okay. So first we need to have possible exchange rates that the user can choose from. Okay. So you have to have that as a table. Okay. So let's go to a new sheet and enter the different exchange rates that you want to allow. Okay. USD to, okay, so say we want from $1 in increments of 5 cents. So go up and add 5 cents, right, and go all the way to say $2. Now you want to have this in the DAX, in the data model. Okay. So what we have to do is to create a table. So Control A that covers up all the data, then do a Control T to convert that into a table. Okay, and the table spans A1 through A22. Okay, and my table has a header. Click OK, and then you must give a proper name. Don't let just table 1, table 2, table 3 be the names of the tables. Okay, that's very bad idea. Okay. So change that to say 4x table. Okay, foreign exchange table. Now go to Power Pivot and add to data model. So we have the exchange rate available. So now we can change the format here to dollar. Now we have to set up a measure now, okay, so which will be the number that the user selects. Okay, so you're going to set this up as a slicer in the pivot table. So a user will be able to select exactly one number from this slicer. Okay, so the slicer will exhibit all of these $1 through $2, and the user will select only one of them. Okay, and we want to capture that number. Okay, so what we can do is selected rate. Okay, all right, so in the measure you cannot simply say equal to USD, but instead you have to use some kind of a function. So we can use the function max, right, USD, like that, and close parenthesis. So remember, this max will be applied to what the number that the user chooses, and the user will be able to choose only one number. So max of that number is that number itself. So the MAX here, you could use MIN. it will still give you the same answer. You can use AVG, average, and it will give you the same number. So this is the way of capturing user input. Okay, so click enter. So now, of course, here since you're using max, it will give you the maximum number. But once you use it in the Power Pivot, it will only it will be equal to the number that the user selects. Okay. So now this is the exchange rate that the user has selected. So now you go to fact sales, and now we can set up the net sales as in euros. So net sales euros okay. All right. So from dollar, so the exchange rate is how many dollars to 1 euro, right? So now we want to convert the net sales in dollars back to euros. So what should we do? So we already have net sales, right? So there it is. Net sales is there. Now what should I do to the selected? What should I do with this? Okay, or what should I do to this with the selected exchange rate to convert the dollar amount into euros? What should I do? Okay. There are two things you can do with the exchange rate. You can either multiply or you can divide. Right? So this is in dollars. So to convert this dollar amount to euros, should I multiply with the exchange rate or should I divide by the exchange rate? So the exchange rate gives you 1 euro equal to how many dollars? Okay. Well, the answer is to divide. Okay. So if you have like $2 worth of sales, and if you selected $1 or $1.50, for example, then it's 2 divided by 2. Or if the exchange rate is $2 and you divide by 2, and you get 1 euro. So that will be equal to $2. Okay, so selected rate. All right. So now we can change the format here. So you want to change the format to euros, so 0 decimal place, and this is all kinds of currency that's available, and you need to look for it. Okay, so we have it. Now let's go to the sheet here and let's set up. Okay. Let's bring in dollar amount, net sales in euros. Okay. So now this is based on the selected exchange rate, which is right now at the maximum dollar amount level. Now to allow the user to control this, you take this field and make that into a slicer. Okay. And you can control how the slicer is displayed using options. Okay. Now when you have slicer like this, don't leave the slicer covering the pivot table like that. Okay. So you need to put the slicer away. Okay. So now if you select exchange rate like 1, so you do 1 to 1. If it is $50 to 1 euro, so then it will convert to $50. So $25. So now you're able to give user interactiveness in this table. Okay. Now, this is a disconnected table. So you're using information from one table that is not connected to your fact internet sales table. Remember, you have to connect to be able to look up a value, say product to product subcategory or product subcategory to product category. You must link, you must create relationships between all of those different tables. Now here, you cannot create a relationship between the exchange rate table and the fact table because there is no key. For us to be able to create those relationships, there must be a common key. Since there is no key, you cannot relate it. So when you cannot relate it, okay, so this is a way of simulating a relationship. Okay, you're not actually creating, and that's the reason why there is this warning message here. Relationship between tables may be needed. Okay, that's because we are using the exchange rate from one table, okay, into computing the measure in another table. And that's the reason for that error message. So unfortunately, you can only dismiss the error message. You cannot make it completely go away. So that's kind of a nuisance. But you know that that's not a problem, so you X that out. Okay? So a disconnected table can be used to allow user to interact with the pivot table.